Yo guys, 95% Rookie here. Gonna do a bit of a, just like a quick news update. Obviously, if you're in Arma 3, you've probably heard this already, but there's a new creator DLC that's been announced here. I should have it on my screen. This is gonna just be a quick kind of reaction video on what exactly it is and my thoughts on it. It's by, so first of all, I guess, announced today, March 7th. Publisher Bohemia Interactive, obviously part of the creator DLC program, which if you don't know, that's just it's like the paid mods essentially. I mean, you could consider it paid mods, but the idea is it's paying third-party developers, which are generally modders, to make higher quality content and be able to sell it as DLC as kind of a post development life support for Arma 3, because most Bohemia development has gone over to Reforger or Arma 4 or whatever. So anyways, that's the point of creator DLC program. So we have the new one by Rotators Collective, which are the guys who did Western Sahara, which was one of my favorite creator DLCs, which was basically, if you didn't know, I have a bunch of videos on it, but it's like an expansion of like vanilla Arma 3 setting. So a lot of CDLCs are kind of historic settings, like with Prairie Fire, which is the best, I think, creator DLC objectively, was set in Vietnam, and then we have other ones. Generally, it's like a Cold War, or there's also a World War II one, Spearhead, which I haven't actually tried out. I should probably make a video on that. Anyways, so this one is, so Western Sahara, anyways, was 2035, set in the Western Sahara with brand new factions, brand new content, brand new, there were missions, there was a map, a really high quality map, pretty high quality gear and equipment, and then there were some pretty high quality scenarios for co-op and stuff. So like Western Sahara was, I would say it was like a small package compared to some other ones, but it was also heavily discounted. I think it was like $8 US, but it may have been a bit more, but maybe around $10. This is another, I think, a lower, so what I'm thinking this one, which is obviously by the Western Sahara guys, Reaction Forces, I'm thinking this one is, I'll go over the content, but it kind of feels to me like Rotators Collective, they have a bunch of like miscellaneous ideas for like content, like guns, stuff like that, and they're kind of just conglomerating them into a kind of like a just like a bonus mod kind of thing, like where it's just like a variety of content scenarios and stuff, rather than Western Sahara, which was more of a singular project, which was obviously themed around the Western Sahara terrain. So this is generally more, it's just expanding the 2035 vanilla setting. When the call comes, nothing is more important than how fast you react. The new creator DLC, fast decisions with small squads are key. Reaction Forces offers new weapons, vehicles, gear, and more to rapidly react to a multitude of situations in new single and multiplayer scenarios, and to enhance your overall experience in the Arma 3 sandbox. So I guess it's kind of like expanding with equipment and stuff, the idea of, I guess, more special forces-y type stuff. Now, I don't know if it actually makes sense to me. Like, if you want my opinion on it, which I think it's going to be a cool DLC regardless, but to me it feels more like a lot of stuff that doesn't necessarily jive together being put into a pack, which is fine, but I mean, like quick reaction, I don't know, like there's a gun scream like quick reaction, there's obviously like a bunch of advanced equipment, but is it I don't know, I don't know if I buy the theme of the scenario pack, if like, or if like, very well, if they had the idea of like, we want reaction forces, quote unquote, and then this is all stuff that they think fits that fair enough, but to me it feels more like we're working on a bunch of cool stuff, let's put it all into a pack and kind of come up with something that kind of fits what it is. That's my opinion anyways. But yeah, we have some screenshots here. I'll go through these real quick once it loads here. So one thing, as I'll go through the content, I'll explain, but so I think this is one of the new guns, I'm assuming, because it looks like it's kind of like an AR, like an AR-15 type platform, but although it's a little hard to tell without zooming in too much. But we have like this, what's it called? The Israeli, like, mitznafet? I forget what it's called, the Israeli term for it, but it's essentially a cloth helmet cover that is designed in real life to break up the silhouette of a helmet. For example, it's easier to tell a rounded helmet than like a cloth that kind of looks like more organic, I guess. That's the idea behind it anyway. So I think this is a really cool addition. So we see a multicam version here. You also see an AAF one with AAF patterns. So obviously people will be making reskins for this as well, which I have some opinions on that I'll get to in a sec. But anyways, it seems cool. I really like this the helmet cover stuff. Go to the next screenshot. This is, I'm assuming, the new, this is like a bolt action rifle. Looks a little strange to me. Like I'm not sure if I like the look of it. Or is this might be that same gun? Maybe it has a side-mounted magazine. I think that's what it is. I think the magazine comes out the side here, so it's kind of like it looks a little small to me for some reason. I don't know. Looks a little silly, but fair enough. Bolt action gun. You don't see many of those in Arma 3, so I'm fine with it. So yeah, I think there's a side-mounted magazine on it, which is a little strange, but maybe that makes sense for a marksman rifle more than other things. Here we have the helmet cover in the back, and this is the AAF helmet cover. This is the new helicopter, which is, I'm not a huge like aircraft guy, so I can't really give much commentary on this, but it's some kind of like, I don't know, European helicopter, I would assume. It has like, what do you call those, pylons or whatever for missile pods. There's a cannon up front. I'm assuming there's going to be unarmed variants and stuff, but it's basically just a new helicopter. Obviously, this is seen with the AAF camo pattern, so I'm assuming they'll have it in a variety of camos and factions, because, you know, there's no new factions in this DLC. They're kind of just expanding base game stuff. Then obviously people can mod in their own skins for it. This is the wildfire thing. When it was first announced, actually, that it was just this screenshot, and people assumed it was just going to be like a civilian-focused DLC focused on firefighting, and there is a firefighting scenario, but it seems that's not the case. It seems like it's just kind of a bonus thing. It's not really entirely focused on forest fires and firefighting. It's just like, you know, this is just a cool, obviously eye-grabbing screenshot, which, yeah, it's pretty cool. Although, who knows how this will run in-game. More firefighting stuff. So we have the new helicopter with what appears to be like a fire-retarding or a water bucket, and more firefighter stuff. So as we can see, we have like a hard hat, which I think was already in the game, but this appears to be like a reskin of kind of that officer uniform, the AF officer uniform with a yellow top, and, you know, it works well, fairly well. Looks like a firefighting uniform, although it doesn't really look fireproof. Maybe it's like fire resistant material, but I guess you're not always going to be in the heavy firefighter's outfit when you're out forest firefighting anyways. I got a chainsaw here. I think that's a new asset. I think some of these are new assets. We got this. Oh, we got like a water truck here. I'm wondering if any of this firefighting stuff will be possible to be scripted in like other scenarios more dynamically, or if it's like entirely a scripted single player mission. Be interesting to see. So here we have, I think this must be the new gun. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't recognize this gun from the vanilla game. Kind of looks like a Graza. It's obviously a bullpup, which I think that would be a 6.5 millimeter carbine. So these are like AAF guys. So maybe it's like something the FIA rather. So maybe it's like something the FIA were supplied with. Has a 40 millimeter grenade launcher. And here we see the 40 millimeter drones, which are going to be very cool. I think this red one, these black ones are probably just reconnaissance. I think this red one might be an explosive drone, if I had to guess. But yeah, so it's kind of like it reminds me of like a Groza or whatever. New bullpup gun. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I guess we'll see how it is when we get in game. New pistol. There's 2 new pistols, and I'm thinking, I don't know if this is one of them. Maybe it's like a fully auto version. This looks like a PO8 to me, or whatever that the default NATO pistol is. I could be wrong. I'm not like super good at recognizing pistols. It reminds me of that one that's already in Arma 3, but maybe it's like a full auto variant, or it's just different and I'm just blind. And there's obviously some kind of Desert Eagle with it's got a weird front sight on it, which, I mean, interesting, I guess. I'm not like a huge fan of the Desert Eagle, but I mean, more pistol variety is always nice. We got like a snail, or not a snail drum, like a drum mag for the whatever this is. I'm assuming it's a fully automatic pistol, but I guess we'll see. And then this is that new rifle with, you can see the side-mounted magazine coming out the side. This is the new 40mm drones, which I'll go through the whole content in a second. But so I think this red one is HE, obviously because red means boom, I would assume. Although I don't know if you would necessarily want to advertise it to the enemy, but I mean, for safety reasons, you would probably want it to be visible to people that, yes, this is a dangerous drone versus a maybe this would be more a reconnaissance one. But yeah, it's basically a very tiny drone. You shoot with a grenade launcher, it'll deploy, and then you can control it. I assume, I'm not sure how exactly this will work scripting-wise, if it'll automatically be added to your UAV terminal when you fire it, or how exactly that works, but it should be interesting. Kind of a disposable drone. Maybe it has a short battery life. Would be interesting to see. I think it's a cool tool. Definitely. Here we have some kind of artillery battery set up on it. It's like an automated. Yeah, it looks like an automated mortar of some kind, or a howitzer. Maybe it's not a huge caliber, but maybe it's a mortar. Set up on a trailer. It's kind of like an automated drone system or artillery system. That's pretty cool. Looks like they implying it could be shipped on this container here. I don't know if that would be supported in game. I think there is like a cargo system in game vanilla, but definitely with Ace or something you could move those around, I'm sure. Here we have some humanitarian stuff. I think are these the new trucks? I'm not sure about that. Doesn't look too different for me, but I'm really not a vehicle guy in general, so you know, maybe that is the new truck. I'm just not recognizing it. It kind of looks like a regular off-road to me, but yeah, I could be wrong. Or no, yeah, the regular off-road actually has 2 front seats and then a back bed. So this has, looks like 4 seats in the back plus the bed, which is a shorter bed. So yeah, this is the new truck. Here we have the, I assume this is the, yeah, this is the new truck with the 4 doors. Got a kind of a grad style, like multiple launch rocket system set up on it. So that's cool. Like a new, so there seems like we're getting a lot of like special forces and insurgent gear. And I think they actually say that in the description. Here we have a backpack mortar, which, so that's actually very cool because in pretty much every mod and every vanilla and everything, mortar backpacks and tripods and stuff, they don't have unique models. They're just a generic backpack that is supposed to hold the weapon. This is very cool because you can actually physically see the mortar on your back, which I like all for immersion purposes. That's, I'm surprised I've never seen that before in a mod. I mean, I'm sure people have done it, but it's interesting to see that. It's a very good idea. That guy has the helmet cover, obviously. Is that like a Flectarn type of brake shape helmet cover? I'm not sure. These look like FIA guys. Anyways, that's that. I think that's the new rifle. Oh no, that's Rahim, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Anyways, go to the next screenshot. This is that new helicopter, so it has some kind of buoyancy system for landing, I assume for search and rescue and stuff, on the ocean. I'm hoping, I'm assuming that this works in multiplayer and like in a non-scripting scenario, you can just activate on the helicopter, but I'm not sure. Maybe, I don't know, I could foresee some bugs and stuff, but if it just works out of the box, that would be a cool feature for the dynamic mission stuff. Here we have, oh, and a, looks like a ATGM system set up on this pickup truck. That's cool. So it's got a like a telescoping call it camera system with I assume that's the guidance system. Maybe you control it in the front seat, so you're not exposed on the launcher. And so yeah, you would aim it with that, and then I'm assuming this is a wire guided launcher system. These look like a special forces team, so yeah, it makes sense. And there's some, looks like there's some utility variants on these new pickups as well. But yeah, that's cool. Like a ATGM launching pickup truck, very interesting. And then we have, this is the new helicopter sling loading a UGV. I think the helicopter's the only new thing in the screenshot, but correct me if I'm wrong. This is that new, more of a civilian, I guess, but you know, like a more of a search and rescue kind of look to it, like a more of a civilian, less military style is what I'm saying. Helicopter skin for this thing. I'm sure it's based on a real helicopter. You know, I just don't really know. Maybe it's Russian. I'm not sure. And then back to that. So that's all the screenshots. So I've covered all the screenshots. Video's gonna go on a little long, I guess, but I mean, if you want to, I mean, I've seen other people make like quick reactions to this DLC, but I'm kind of it's nighttime and I'm feeling chill. I'm just gonna go over everything in the mod, and then you can decide if you want to watch the whole thing. And so let's go through. So 2035 future setting, enhance your Arma 3 experience with new assets and content that fits seamlessly into Arma 3's narrative and world. So yeah, self-explanatory. 2 new rifles and pistols. Equip yourself with the Hades H6 bolt-action rifle. That's the one with the side magazine. Velis bullpup rifle. So that's the bullpup. Mark 26 L5 pistol. And G19 pistol. So Mark 26 L5, that must be the Desert Eagle. G19 Sounds like that's implying like a Glock 19. It's clearly not a Glock though. It doesn't look like a Glock to me. You know what? Actually, I think that is a Glock. I guess it just I'm just not okay. If I were to get this screenshot, copy the address, zoom into this real quick. I think it is a Glock. That I think I recognize the controls on it. That little what do you call it? The trigger is visible, and then the disassembly lever and the slide release. That definitely is a Glock. I didn't recognize it because it's got some like serrations, or it's got some non-standard serrations and cutouts on the slide. So it's kind of like a customized Glock essentially, but I guess it's essentially a Glock 19. They're calling it a G19. But yeah, so it is full auto pistol, which, hey, kudos to them. That's an interesting idea for a pistol. It's like, at least they're not just adding, you know, another 9mm pistol, which you can get in most mods. It's like a full auto pistol, which is more rare, I'd say. So yeah, G19 new optics and rail attachments are also available to customize these and other weapons. So I'm assuming there's new optics for those. That's cool. New helicopter, pickup truck, UAV, and 2 static mortar systems. Run water bombing or search and rescue with the new Cougar helicopter, cross rough terrain, and the versatile Moose pickup. So the new pickup truck is called Moose. I'm assuming it's like a Ram truck, because it seems like they're calling it Ram versus Moose. Seems like a, you know, seems like that would make sense if it's based off of a Ram truck. And I've seen Rams before. I'm just not very good at recognizing vehicles. Or support combat efforts with the new RC-40 micro UAV. So that's a RC-40 for 40mm UAV. Commando mortar and 120mm twin mortar system. So commando mortar, that must be the backpack mortar, the new mortar system. So I would assume it would be like a more of a lighter mortar system. Maybe it doesn't even have a computer. Maybe there's some new, I mean, it probably has an artillery computer, being honest, but you know, it'd be cool if it was maybe a shorter, more direct fire, like a visual directing mortar versus like a click on the map to kill, which is most mortars, which is fine, but you know, it'd be interesting if there's some new system for it. 120mm twin mortar systems, yeah, that's that automated mortar system. New pylon weapon systems, 12.7mm autocannon, 20mm Dart Dagger 19 missiles, and Shrapnel HEAP 16 missiles. I assume that's those kind of Mi-8 like Russian style missile pods on the chopper. See here. New uniforms and equipment to rapidly respond to situations with the right gear available in multiple variants, including new wildland firefighter fatigues, which we saw, light helmets and suits, heavy combat helmets. Wonder what the heavy combat helmets, I don't remember seeing that, but interesting. Shapebreaker covers for existing helmets, so yeah, that's obviously those I'm not even going to try to pronounce it. I forget how it's spelled. I can pronounce it if I saw the spelling, but I don't want to look it up. Full brim, hard hat, so I guess that's so interesting. There's actually a new variant of the hard hat. Duffel bags. So I wonder if that's a backpack? I'm assuming that's a backpack. And then TNVGB night vision goggles, some kind of new night vision. Carrier light rig and tactical vest rig variants, and colored steerable parachutes. Okay, so not a lot of brand new like gear. It's mostly reskins, it seems, but a couple of new things in there. Open world campaign scenario, air control. So this sounds cool. Take part in a combined arms offensive. Prioritize your tasks, transport special forces, and fly logistics as a helicopter pilot, influencing battles below or above in this extensive 12-player open world campaign scenario. So I guess it's kind of like a it's 12 players. So I'm wondering if it's set up where most players are helicopter pilot and crew, or if it's like one player is the helicopter pilot, they support the rest of the team doing ground ops. Air control implies more of an aerial like environment for most players, but I personally would prefer it if it was like maybe 1 or 2 helicopter players, the rest of them are on a ground team, and the helicopter player is just kind of assisting them. It is cool though, because I play, you know, the group I play with is generally like 6 to 12 players generally. So it's a good that we're getting another, like an official scenario, semi-official scenario, in which we have around my player count. So I'll be able to run that pretty easily if everyone gets the DLC, which they should, because it's cheap, and it'll probably go on sale as well. So this sounds cool. I wouldn't be surprised if it was just like everyone flying a helicopter, because it's like that seems to be kind of the theme. Like, everyone gets a helicopter. You do these air missions rather than ground op missions, which would make sense, but that's not really my preference. I'm not really a flying guy. Though some people in my unit do. Single player scenarios: training day and fire season. Familiarize yourself with Cougar helicopter and take part in water bombing drills on Malden. Once ready, you can go on duty and help protect the island during fire season. So these are firefighting focused civilian single player scenarios. So it seems like all the single player scenarios are firefighting focused. Oh, actually, no, here, co-op and single player scenario QRF. Respond to an emergency call and protect the HVT until reinforcements arrive. As a quick reaction force, QRF, defend against waves of enemies and fight for your life against overwhelming odds in this new co-op game mode. Conserve your ammo and pick your targets carefully while working closely with a team of up to 6 people. So 6 people, that's good. If I remember correctly, in Western Sahara, the co-op scenario for that, which was the maid scenario, which is actually I really liked it a lot. That was, I think, limited to 4 people. So upping it to 6, that's good. I guess it's balanced for that many people. Personally, I would like more people so I could run it with my whole group. But if you're limiting it to people for balance issues, you don't want to have too many units to make it too hard or whatever. Makes sense. The scenario itself sounds cool. I'm wondering if I don't see anything about dynamic here. I'm hoping it's like there are multiple locations on the map with multiple enemy spawns and stuff like that. More dynamic, because that seems to be the standard for Arma missions nowadays, is you generally don't want to just have a one and done mission, at least for co-op. You want to kind of have it be replayable, but we'll see exactly how that works. Multiplayer mode: Cash Point. Series of Cash Point robberies are happening all across Malden and Tanoa. Will you stop the criminals responsible, or are you one of them? This is a team deathmatch scenario for up to 12 players in 2 uneven teams. So kind of like cops and robbers, it seems like. That's really cool. I like that. I always like that concept of asymmetric, the good guys versus the bad guys. I'm assuming there's more cops than there are robbers, but maybe the opposite. I would assume, like, if I were running this, I would have like lower intensity cops versus like kitted out robbers in a smaller team. Kind of like what do you call it? The what's that famous LA bank shootout, West Hollywood shootout or whatever. Yeah, that would be this multiplayer mode. I'm not sure how I would ever play it because I'm not really a PvP guy, but interesting. I'm glad there's a decent variety of scenarios here. I think overall this is quite a bit less content than Western Sahara. And I would have liked maybe a little bit of price reduction because of that. Maybe it is. I can't remember if Western Sahara was $10 or $8, but this is $8 US. Which, I think could be worth the money, but it's the cheaper it is, the easier it is to recommend DLCs like this, because if you're running a group, everyone has to have the DLC or the compatibility stuff, which is I don't generally like running compatibility mods because it's just a little more complicated than if everyone just has the DLC. But anyways, when it's a DLC like this, it's kind of a blessing and a curse. You get a good variety of stuff, but it's also like it's harder to justify people getting it when you're gonna be adding a couple of cool, mechanics or pieces of equipment. Personally, I'm a big thumbs up on this DLC so far. I'm definitely gonna get it, but it's a matter of convincing people to get it, or if I want to purchase it for other people in my group to get enough people to play it, then I'm paying $30 to get like 4 people to play it or whatever. So yeah, like pluses and minuses to this. And I fully think they should be paid for this. I'm not saying like it's not worth the money necessarily. It's just the other considerations when it comes to running a group or getting people to play this. Even just if you're just running this with like 2 to 3 friends. Obviously it's harder to get people to justify a price for maybe a few hours of content versus a bigger expansion like Western Sahara was. Western Sahara, I'd say, was underpriced for what they gave you, but that helped it so much because it was such a large amount of content that the price point is like you couldn't say no to it, essentially. This is like good price, not expensive, but also quite a bit less stuff that I think makes it worth getting, at least in my opinion. Yeah. But music, new soundtrack sets the tone for the CDLC, right in the perfect atmosphere. So the soundtrack on Western Sahara was actually pretty good. I did like it. Additional content, there's new customizable modules, as well as new wildfire and water bombing mechanics. So there are actual wildfire and water bombing mechanics. Now, they didn't mention anything about the firefighting stuff existing in the multiplayer, which I feel like desync and stuff might cause issues with that, so maybe it's not possible. I guess we'll see about that. 7.99 USD, so Canada, I guess we're gonna be fucked. It's probably gonna be like 11 to 12, something like that, if I had to guess, which, you know, it's not that cheap, but I don't know, I guess I'll have to actually play it to say for sure. At the moment, it's like $7.99, very cheap, and I admire that they didn't go higher than that. But reality is, like, it might be a little hard to justify for some people, I think, considering the content here. There's a good amount of scenarios, a good amount of, like, little bits of equipment, but there's nothing like, oh, a brand new terrain, like brand new factions, all this stuff. Like Western Sahara, which it's almost like Western Sahara and other CDLCs are just too good of deals that this, which is like a good deal, but it comes across as lacking, which is a little unfair for it, I will admit. I'm starting to go hoarse here, so I'm going to wrap it up, but in addition to full release, we'll publish a compatibility pack, so as the usual CDLC thing. At least the plus side on this is that since there is no map, you're not going to have to worry about the compatibility data pack being that big. So I think that's a lot more justifiable, actually. Now that I think about it, you know what? The fact that there isn't that much, I assume the mod isn't going to be huge gigabyte-wise. It might be worth running this all the time with the compatibility data and some people owning the DLC, because versus, you know, running compatibility data on global mobilization where it's like 30 gigabytes of compatibility data. This, I'm assuming, will be under 10 gigabytes. If I had to guess, I would assume, because there doesn't seem to be that much content in it. I could be wrong, of course, but the fact that there's no map, there's no huge factions or anything, I think I can stomach that price and the somewhat lack of content for the fact that I will probably be able to run this on on my server generally with the compatibility pack for people who don't own it. Because, you know, it's hard to justify 30 gigabytes for something I'll barely use, but if it's something with some cool equipment that I'll use quite often, I'm fine with sacrificing 10 gigabytes of mods for my group. So that's pretty much it. I think I've covered it. I'll try to edit this down a little bit because I'm sure there's a lot of umming and ahhing and all that, but hopefully you enjoyed my little breakdown of it, my thoughts on it, as it were. I'll definitely be making stuff for this in the future, I think. No promises, of course, but yeah, I guess I'll leave it there. Let me know in the comments what you think of the DLC. I think generally people are going to be positive towards it, but maybe compared to Western Sahara and other CDLCs, a little lacking in content, I'd say. But a big shout out to Rotators Collective, because I really love Western Sahara, and I'm thinking this is going to be good. I don't want to be too negative on it because I haven't played it or anything, and I'm not negative on it. I think it's going to be good. Just like I said, there's some considerations that I think I need to play it and see how it interacts with my group to really have a final say on it, which I'll eventually buy. Oh, my voice is dying. Anyways, thanks for watching. Spend enough time on this, and have a good weekend or whenever I release this. See ya. Bye.